And we're firing up the conversation about the state of Black activism today. Joining us are historian and strategist Xavier Buck, who is also the deputy director of the Huey P. Newton Foundation in Oakland, California, and former attorney Hawk Newsom, the co-founder of the NYC-based nonprofit Black Opportunities and the self-described realist voice in activism. Now, we should also mention that one of our guests from the Black Lives Matter Global Network respectively pulled out of the conversation today last minute when they learned that Hawk was going to be on the show today. Hawk, I want to start with you. What's your response to that?
Well, thank you for having me, Queen. Grace and peace. It's no surprise Black Lives Matter going out of their way to disassociate themselves from us, which is truly sad because we are one of the strongest groups to ever carry the BLM banner.
The reason why we invited both of you here today is to really look at the movement from a multi-generational standpoint. The Black Panther Party started in 1966. Now, when they were active, their demands were labeled as quote unquote radical. Some of the things they wanted: we want freedom, full employment, decent housing, education, end to police brutality. Things are still being demanded to this day. Xavier, why do you think what the Panthers wanted were labeled as radical when it's just things that everyone now is also demanding?
A lot of the ideas that we have today that are usually Democratic left-leaning politicians, they're really Black liberation ideas that have been present in our communities for a long time. And it really just has to do with the history of race in our country, right? These are basic rights, but when Black people say them, they're radical.
Let's be real about this. White liberal media has a lot to do with this. White politicians in the Democratic Party at large has a lot to do with the support for Black Lives Matter. The reason being is they promote our agenda when they're trying to get elected, when they're trying to generate Black votes. But I give honor to all the groups that stay the course. No Black organization, be it the NAACP, be it the Urban League, be it Black Lives Matter Global, has been able to efficiently harness the energies of Black people. And that's because we are not doing the work day to day in the community.
And I'm so glad you said that. When we look at the Black Panther Party, and not only that, the civil rights movement as well, which had so much synergy and so much in common as well, the Black Panther Party trained members not only for self-defense, but also how to provide resources. What do we have now that compares to that?
I think sometimes we think of training as something very formal. I was just sitting with Fred Hampton's widow, and she told me when she first joined the party, they would just sit for 6 hours just talking politics, political education classes, PE is what they called it. And, you know, that's training, right? Just as much as learning how to shoot a gun or learn how to defend yourself. But it was really about getting a whole bunch of people interested in revolution.
We have to understand through a historical lens what training our people is about. The Black Panthers had trainings. SNCC had trainings. The Nation of Islam, Malcolm X had trainings. One of the biggest problems with the Black Lives Matter movement was that anybody can show up, hold up a sign, and say, hey, I am Black Lives Matter. Okay? You had a lot of idiots with news microphones stuck in their faces saying some of the most crazy things you've ever heard. It's our job as revolutionaries, as organizers in the community, to make sure that our people have at least a basic political and education.
As someone who regularly gives interviews to right-wing media outlets, do you feel your viewpoints are heard, or is it used to tear down the work of Black activism? Because you pop up everywhere, right? So I kind of want to make sure we talk about that as well.
So when, let's say, I'll give you a perfect example of how you use the conservative media against the liberals who are in control. Like, you understand that these conservative outlets are very racist, are very skewed, right? But while you're on there, you have the opportunity to speak truth to power. And when we had this feud with New York's mayor over him bringing back the old way of policing, and what we were saying was there are other ways to combat crime than with police. And the main thing that we highlighted was cure violence. When you pay groups of ex-gang members, formerly incarcerated people, to go in and de-escalate violent situations in our communities. No one paid it attention. They act like they didn't hear it, but the mayor adopted this policy. So whereas the Dems would like to bash me and say, oh, he's not real BLM, or he's this or he's that, he's extremist. Why? Because I'm not a tap dancing Negro. But the Republicans give me that opportunity. Even though it's mostly confrontational with them, I can still use them as a weapon against the other.
Hawk, it seems you are pretty strategic about your brand, where it goes, and the power of being heard. I want to shift our attention back to BLM. There's an unfolding controversy around the finances of Black Lives Matter that we should discuss. And to reiterate, we invited a guest from the Black Lives Matter Global Network who respectively declined to be part of our panel today. Now, in 2020, the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation reportedly took in more than 90 million in donations, but has failed to submit required fiscal reports accounting for that money and where it went. And last week was suspended from Amazon's charitable giving platform, Amazon Smile. We should say that BLM recently updated its accounting procedures, allowing them to delay reporting where that money went that was received until May of 2022. So they have about 3 months left. But that has not stopped criticism and confusion about the organization. My question is, do you think that this controversy casts a shadow on the work of organizers and the movement as a whole? Hawk, I want to start with you.
What's going on with BLM Global's finances is of the utmost concern, because that's what the streets say to me, right? I'm not one of these activists who hang out in these social circles and, you know, these what do you call it, spoken word lounges. No, I'm in the streets. I'm on the corner. I'm in the South Bronx. I'm out here with the drillers and the trappers trying to serve my people. So my people, the people in the streets, are like, bro, where the bread at? What happened with the money? So we have to address that. We have to address our people in a real way. Now, if they were to turn around and say, why y'all ain't asking for the Salvation Army money? Why you not asking for the Boys and Girls Club money? I'd have been like, yeah, that's what the media should be asking, right?
Xavier, I also want to give you a moment to respond to that criticism that BLM has been going through with where the money is going. Who is it supporting and where is it at?
I'm not in Black Lives Matter. You know, I'm not in leadership there. What I will say is I think a thread that's been going on through this conversation is about the media. They're getting a lot more attention than other organizations have, right? And so just being really particular about how we talk about Black organizations in the news, how we comment on them, because I do feel like we're always under attack. And I think whether or not Black Lives Matter is doing everything right, maybe they are, maybe they're not. I don't know. I'm not here to say that. I'm just saying we know they're getting attacked from all ends. And so let's tread lightly.
Xavier and Hawk Newsome, thank you both for joining us today on this discussion. Black Panther Party, 1966. It's been 56 years. The movement continues with so many different organizations wanting to move the culture and the people forward. Both of your perspectives were really appreciated today. And thank you for joining Revolt Black News Weekly for this discussion.